How accurate was Bull Durham?
Oh, that was the most accurate baseball movie that there ever was.
What's your favorite story from the minor leagues that you can tell?
My favorite story was, oh gosh, first time I ever signed, basically my first couple days in professional baseball. I drive up to Visalia, California from my home in LA, a couple hours north. And the catcher takes me out to the El Presidente in Visalia. It was the hottest bar in town. Proceeds to shove the most cheap tequila in existence down my throat. And I show up to the field the next day, literally almost falling down in the outfield because my body had no water in it whatsoever. And so I asked my coach, who was Kurt Young at the time, Kurt, do you think I can go down to the ER and get a couple bags of saline? Because I need some hydration. And that was literally my third day in pro ball. So I did not come out with a great reputation.
You didn't get in trouble?
I was a first rounder, so maybe I got a little more slack than the other guys. But that was the last time I ever did that.
I hate Moneyball. I do. And
the film, the story, the portrayal, which part of it?
Well, they don't mention the pitching staff. Like, you guys are an afterthought in Moneyball in the movie. Like, all it is about these hitters who take a lot of pitches. Like, it's the Scott Hatterberg story.
It may not be super accurate to what happened. I mean, we also had an MVP that year, Miguel Tejada, and they didn't mention that either.
Yeah, like Moneyball, it sounds in theory like, oh, wow, that's neat. But in the reality, you had a great hitter, and you had a great staff. You had a great closer. You can have Moneyball if you have those things in place, right?
Yes, no baseball team is going to perform well without great pitching. We know that. Certainly in the playoffs. And, the original script to that film was actually more of the story that was true to form, but they thought it was not going to sell well in the theaters. So the whole thing got canned and they started over. And they found a new writer, new director, and everything. So me, Mulder, and Huddy were actually going to have cameos in the first version of that movie.
And then you guys didn't get anything.
Yeah, we never got the call after that.
Get scraps.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a sequel to Moneyball?
What would that be?
What would the sequel be in Moneyball?
That would be interesting. Oh, man. My mind's racing everywhere right now. It's funny. The A's
maybe
still
the
have...
Jason Giambi story.
That could be great.
Oh, boy.
That could be good.
He was. Now, I love Jason. I thought he was always entertaining and wacky.
Wacky. Jason had an uncanny ability to show up to the field with a couple Big Macs and fries and then go like 3 for 4 with 2 bombs.
But did you ever see the gold thong? Did you ever?
I did see a few thongs.
Did you wear the thong?
He had an incredible tan as well. And oddly, no tan lines with the thong. So.
Did you ever wear the thong?
I never did. No, I was a young buck. Jason barely ever talked to me.
Really?
Yeah, he was a huge leader in the clubhouse, but he was not like the rah-rah guy. He kind of led by example, and he would let you know when you were out of line. But Jason actually kept to himself quite a bit.
He was pretty good. I remember the home run derby in Milwaukee. Paulie and I, we were with Giambi the night before, and he got plastered. And
Jason?
Yeah, go figure.
Wow.
And he was in a full sweat prior to the home run derby. Like,
was he really?
He was drinking ginger ale. And he goes, I don't know if I can go out there. And then he goes, well, maybe I'll just go out there and then I'll just, bow out in the first round. And then he set the record in the first round of the home run derby.
Oh, that is wonderful.
It was one of the more incredible performances, but I couldn't tell anybody that he was hammered. He was still drunk, I think, during home run derby.
Oh, that's so wonderful. No, you know what? Listen, there is something to performance, and when you're not totally crisp and you're a little tired.
Yeah.
I have heard some stories about some great performances in the history of the major leagues where the guys actually were out most of the night before, and they came back and did these historic things that we've all heard of.
Well, David Wells did that.
Yes, David Wells was one of them.
Did you ever do it?
That did not work for me.
Really?
I may have tried that once in the minor leagues. It didn't work. So I was probably too rested on my start days.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.